Hello folks, another video from Norwich 93CMP. We're going to be doing the rear sight adjustments and your front sight and setup as if you did any type of maintenance to bring it into black at 100 yards. Okay, so this is the process that I use. I was lucky enough to go down to CMP and take the buddy class for the advanced maintenance course with all the guys from the custom shop. Shout out to them, Chris, Lucas, Fig, Chris, and Brent. We appreciate all your guys' help and what you do, and I'm passing some of this education from them on to you folks, my people who subscribe and the viewers right now. So one of the first things we're going to do is I already showed disassembly of the rear sight, the Type 105E. I'm double checking all this. I'm making sure nothing's loose. My sight cover's good. My peep is not, there's no movement left or right, forward or back, up or down. My rear sight base is not moving anywhere, and that my knobs aren't loose at all. After that first step, as I get my front sight all the way down, okay? And to accomplish that, obviously we're doing the elevation and we're going forward, okay? What I did is I loosened up on this screw right here, okay? This is your elevation cap, and this is how you make your adjustments. It's loose right now. I can hold that in and I can go backwards and forward. I'm pulling on it, there's a little spring inside, but yet nothing's going up and down. We're going to do what's a little trick, and I'm going to show you a couple of things. So here's our elevation, right? So everything's in yards. So you'll see that M1 Garand rear sight has a 12 on it. If yours has an 11 and it shows an M over here, that's meters, and it's for the M14 or the M1A1, okay? So you want to make sure you have the 1200. Clicks are the same, but distances and the graduations on here are totally different. So I told you I wanted to get you at 100 yards. So there's my mark, 100 yards, it's all the way forward. What I'm going to do is I am going to rotate the elevation cap 9 clicks. We're going to be between 8 and 10, so I just split the difference. I use 9, and I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So I'm a little bit above the 1100, and now I'm going to torque it down, holding everything in place. Okay. She went two positions. So now I'm going to count back 9, because I made 9 the opposite way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So from the bottom, I'm up 9 clicks. And if you look really close, there's my 100-meter mark. Excuse me, 100-yard mark. We can adjust this later if we need to, but it's just a good spot to know where you're going to be. Don't forget, you got 9 clicks. If you're off so many other clicks, you're going to be adding that to your number or subtracting it from your number. And that's kind of like what's called your battle sight 0. My rear sight base is centered within my index marks on my receiver. And now on my windage side of the house, I'm going to make sure that this little tiny nut here, you can torque this down to the right to the point where none of your windage or elevation moves at all. But you're going to back it up enough so you can hear it. It's a solid clicking noise, okay? That's a good positive click. It's also giving me pretty good decent on this side, but it is a little bit loose, and we don't want it walking down while range firing. So I'm actually going to do one more, I think. And you notice that the nut comes out a little bit because it's going over the bushing, and then it clicks in. All right, it's tough, but it's not going to walk on me. Same with the elevation. All right, that's the rear sight as far as getting it ready to 0. Now we're going to concentrate in up on the front sight. Yes, I'm holding an M1D. Now the front sight, stand by while I do a little change here. For the front sight, maybe you've changed your gas cylinders, you've done something to it, change out the front sight, put a national match on, I don't know. You're going to make sure all these surfaces are nice and clean in the dovetails. I personally like using nylon brushes, razor blades, cotton swabs if I have them. The rear sight also needs to be clean. You're going to make sure that you see the daylight in there. That's got to be clean. And your dovetails and these sides. Also your screw hole, and then especially the threads over here. Q-tips, pipe cleaners, all good stuff to clean that out with, okay? It's a 3/16 hex head screw. You can get it started. And this happens to be a wide base right here, where it's bigger than the actual front sight. You're just going to center it in there, and then you're going to torque it down. You don't want the front sight jumping around while you're trying to sight in. It would be ridiculous if you're trying to change the rear sight and you're making adjustments and your front sight's moving all over the place. Torque that sucker down, like I say, 3/16, so it doesn't jump anywhere. Now she's centered. With both the front sight done and then the rear sight done, you should be hitting a lot closer on your first shot. And I just want to show you the marriage of the rear sight cover, the aperture, and the base. And if you look really close on the bottom of the base, the cover right here, you're going to see a wear mark. And that wear mark is the top of the aperture rubbing across it as it sits in there. Okay, this is nothing more than a spring. Now, you can peen these little edges right here if you had to, if there's play here, but mine's it's pretty decent. It's not the best, but you can try different apertures and different bases. But once I take this sight cover and you apply pressure from under the spring on there, now I'm just holding the base and the spring. I'm not holding the aperture, but it doesn't want to move. It doesn't move freely, and that's because of the tension here. And that's why it's so important to make sure all these parts are clean. A little bit of light oil on that rib, on the rib back here, okay? And make sure everything's lubricated nicely. And that'll get you within your 100 yards, usually on your first shot. Thanks for watching this video from Norwich 93 CMP. Again, good shout out to the guys at CMP for doing a great job. Thank you.